You're excited, your HDB is ready, and you're now ready to start house hunting. Then fear starts to creep in. How much should I offer? How do I negotiate? What if there's COV, cash over valuation, and suddenly you are worried? What if I have to pay 30,000, 50,000 in cash I don't have? And here's what I'll show you. 3 free tools that help you estimate the real value so that you can negotiate and make your offer with confidence. Plus 3 bonus negotiation tips that could save you tens of thousands of dollars. So make sure you watch till the end. Hi friends, if you are new to the channel, my name is Kenneth, an ex-police officer with 16 years of real estate experience. During these 16 years, I've seen many buyers either making offers too quickly, probably under pressure, or lack of information, and later getting their deposit forfeited. Or people who are so afraid of COV that they miss out on good units. If you're looking to get a home and have this concern, stay with me. Now let me walk you through what valuation actually means. Let's say you view a flat, the seller is asking for 700,000. You like it, you agreed. You paid 1,000 deposit and you did a request for valuation for the flat. Few days later, the official valuation reports come back and say 650,000. Wait, what? What it means is that the valuer who assessed the flat valued at 650,000. In plain words, it means that the market value of that unit is 650,000. And if you're buying it at 700,000, you're actually paying 50,000 higher than the market value. And what it really means is that you cannot use CPF or loan to pay for this extra 50,000. This is COV, cash over valuation. You will need to pay this in cash, and now you are stuck. Maybe you're not prepared for this. Maybe you don't have the extra 50,000. Maybe you have already budgeted that money for renovation, or maybe for your wedding, honeymoon, or maybe kids that are coming. And this COV caught you by surprise. You don't have 50,000 sitting around. So now you have 2 choices. 1, walk away, forfeit that 1,000 deposit, start all over again. Or 2, go back to the seller, try to renegotiate, and if they don't budge, same thing, start all over again. Either way, you are stuck in a bad situation. So how can we avoid this? The answer is, be 1 or 2 steps ahead before the negotiation even starts. You can't control the valuation, but you can prepare for it. And preparation means knowing before you commit, before you pay that deposit, roughly what is the flat value, and you are in control. So here's what I'm going to show you. 3 free tools you can use to estimate the value of the flat before you negotiate. This way you go in prepared, not surprised. Alright, let me show you exactly how this works. I'm going to walk you through a real example, step by step, so you can see how to use these 3 tools to estimate valuation before you negotiate. Let's say I'm keen to buy a unit at block 677B Punggol Drive, 93 square meter on level 3. Before I make any offer, before I pay any deposit, here's what I do. First, I get transaction data from the authority, in this case HDB. And why is this important? Because even the valuer uses this data to assess the value of the flat. So I Google HDB map, click the first result, I key in 677B Punggol Drive in the search bar, then I click the house icon on the left. Now I see the map, I click on the block 677B. Infos pop up. I can see the lease start date, 1st September 2016. About 89 years is remaining. Next, I click resale transactions within 200 meters of this block. You'll see 2 options, 6 months or 12 months. I choose 6 months because it's more recent. You may also click buy buyer or seller, doesn't matter. Now scroll down, then click on the price on the right. There you have it, the most recent transactions in the last 6 months. Now it may seem confusing. How do we interpret this? Follow me closely. We try to get similar flats for comparison as close as possible. I repeat, we want to compare flats that are similar to the unit that you want to buy. First, let's look at lease commencement. If you recall, the lease commencement date for 677B Punggol is 2016. Next, we look at similar size. We want 93 square meter. In fact, almost all the units here are similar, about 92 to 94 square meters. Next, we look at floor level. We have 13 to 15 floor, so at 775K. We have another 13 to 15 floor, so at 740,000. 16 to 18 floor, so at 750,000. A low floor unit, 4th to 6th floor, so at about 699,000. The unit I'm planning to buy is at level 3, so it's a low floor unit, similar to the one that was sold about 699,000. So based on this, it is safe to suggest that the value is slightly around 690K to 710K, give or take. That gives me a rough estimate. Now note that this is based on recent transactions. We have not even considered the condition of the flat. Is it renovated? What's the facing? Is there a nice view? But at least it gives us a rough idea. Now, with this info in mind, we move on to tools number 2 or 3. This time, we are not looking for a range. We are looking for an estimate value, a specific number. You can go to HDB.sg. At the top, click Analytics. Click H Fair Value. Follow the instructions. Register with your email and mobile number. They will send you a one-time password OTP, then proceed. Within seconds, you have the result. They call it H Fair Value and the price 700,000. When you scroll down, it shows supporting data, how they got this result. You will notice they also base it on transaction data we saw earlier from HDB map. At the bottom it states, the methodology applies many of the same principles of formal appraisal. It is endorsed by 3C property consultant, etc. etc. They are also panel valuer of HDB and local banks in Singapore. Does this information help you in decision making? Absolutely. Now very quickly, you can also get estimate value from srx.com.sg. They call it X value. Similarly, if you go to PropertyGuru, click sell, then click home value. The process is the same. Note that the estimate value from EdgeProp, SRX or PropertyGuru are only estimates. They are not official valuation from HDB or any bank. They serve as a guide, not an official valuation. By the way, you probably already noticed, these tools are actually meant for seller. But now you are researching as a buyer. I'm not sure if you are able to register multiple houses using the same email or phone number. If you have tried, leave a comment and let us know. I'm curious. Now this is a bonus tips, but only if you are working with an agent. Here's the reality. Most agents already have access to valuation tools such as HDB or SRX. Some agencies may also have their own internal system to calculate estimated value. For example, Promex agent can do a home report for the unit. In our example, we call it PN value, which is 706 for the unit that I'm researching. Now that's slightly higher than HDB 700,000. In fact, I'm quite sure SRX or PropertyGuru estimate value might be slightly different as well. Why the difference? Because different platforms use different calculation methods. Some use average, some use median, some weight recent transactions more heavily, but they are all using the same HDB transaction data. And the important thing is this, they are all showing a similar range, like I mentioned earlier, around 690 to 710k plus minus. And that's what matters. You are not looking for exact number, you're looking for a range. So while the buyer is viewing the place, I can calculate the value on the spot within minutes. So if you are working with an agent, just ask them for the info. It can help you in your decision making. And knowledge is power, isn't it? By the way, this works not only for HDB flat, private property as well, such as condo or apartment. Now if you prefer to do everything yourself and learn the process, you can rely on HDB data. After all, the tools we mentioned, HDB, SRX, PN value, they all retrieve data from HDB anyway. Alright, so now you have the data. You know the asking price, let's say 750,000. You know the estimate value, around 700,000. But there's still a gap, 50,000. So how do you bridge this gap before you start negotiating? You ask 3 questions, and I'm not talking about when was the kitchen last renovated or who's your neighbors. I'm talking about strategic questions that give you leverage. Question 1. Why are the sellers selling? This tells you if the seller is urgent or not urgent. And you might be surprised. Some sellers are not urgent at all. For example, they might say, we want to upgrade, but after we sell, then we buy. And this also means that if they can't sell or they can't get the price they want, they can wait and they are not in a rush. But if they say, oh, we are collecting keys for a BTO flat in about 2 months, now you know they are keen. They want to sell, they have to sell, they need to sell. Or maybe we are divorcing, we need to move on. Again, urgent. You get the picture. We want to deal with serious seller. Why bother negotiating with people who are not serious or not keen yet? Question 2. How long has this unit been on the market? Or how long have you been trying to sell? This tells you if the unit has been sitting for a while. And believe me when I tell you this, most sellers are hopeful at the beginning. They price it high. Who knows, they might get lucky. But if it's on the market for 1 week versus 3 months, even 6 months, that's a very different story. 1 week, they are still testing the market. They might not budge. 3 months, maybe they are getting worried. They might be more open to negotiation. So these questions help you to decide your strategy later. And question number 3, this is the most important one. Any last offer? We want to know if any buyer has already made an offer, even if it was rejected. Why? Because this gives you a baseline. Let's say they replied yes, someone offered 680,000. and the seller rejected it. But here's the follow-up question, and this is so powerful. Did the seller counter offer? If they say yes, we counter at 725,000, and that's a 25,000 discount. Now you have a new baseline, not the asking price of 750,000. And now you know the seller is willing to come down even lower. And that's powerful information. And most buyers don't know how to ask this. Now some might think, is this sneaky? It's not. It is being 1 or 2 steps ahead in negotiation. Sun Tzu said this: know yourself, know your enemy, and you will not be defeated. And I told you right at the beginning, knowledge is power. Everyone wants a good deal, and that's why we negotiate. And these questions bridge the gap between data and negotiation. They tell you, is the seller serious? Are they flexible? What's the real range? And once you have this information, plus the valuation data, now you are ready to negotiate from a position of strength. Not guessing, not hoping, but knowing. Of course, that is a good situation. But if the seller is not willing to budge, or maybe they are not urgent or serious yet, or maybe the house is very hot, many keen buyers bidding for the unit, then we need another strategy. There's no one-size-fits-all strategy. We may need to shift and adapt. Anyway, that's all for now on negotiation. Maybe in the future, I'll do a video and dive deep into negotiation strategies. But for now, you have the tools, you have the questions, you are prepared. And I hope this video helped you see that real leverage doesn't come from luck or talk. It comes from preparation and insight. And when you understand the value, you're no longer reacting. You are positioning with purpose. By the way, if you're buying your first home, your dream home might still be alive if you don't know these 4 numbers. I did another video explaining exactly what are these 4 numbers. Watch here to find out. Anyway, my name is Kenneth, and I'll see you on the next video.